Hello everyone, I am Shweta and welcome to my channel Analytics by Shweta. In today's video, we will learn how to use the DATEADD function in Power BI. Now, DATEADD returns a column of dates that can either be shifted forward or backward in time by the specified number of intervals. We will see the same in action. It is very similar to parallel period, but DATEADD has an additional parameter of day which is used in the interval. And also, it behaves a little differently when you add more dates to the context. First, let us have a look at our data model. Our data model is a simple data model having 4-dimension tables connected to our fact table, the highest data, in a one-to-many relationship. The calendar table has date column which is connected to the DOJ column in the higher date. The DOJ column is basically the hiring date or the joining date of the employee. Both these dates are very essential as they would be used in our time intelligence function. Let us proceed. If you see, we already have a pre-created measure called as total hires, which counts the hires in our organization. It is counting on the employee codes. As each and every employee has a unique employee code, this measure would give us a distinct count of the employees. Let us proceed to create our first measure. We would be naming as DATEADD year. We use the calculate. What are we calculating? We are calculating the total hires. Next, we use the DATEADD function. The DATEADD function's first requirement is to give it a calendar set of dates. So we use the calendar date over here. Next, we need to give the intervals. As I said, we can move backward or forward in time. We are using -1 as we want to go back one interval. Now the next option is what is the interval? Do you want to go back 1 day, 1 month or year or quarter? In our example, we are going back 1 year. Now if you see, -1 is written for this example, but you can use -2, -3, you can use month, year, quarter, day if you want to go back that particular interval. So it's up to you. You can either go forward or backward. So instead of minus, you can use 1 also in your requirement. You can use 2, you can use 3 if you want to go back or forward 2 periods, 3 periods. I want to go 3 months down the line. So it's completely customizable. Let us just approve this measure. Let us also create a new measure and name it DT month and use calculate total hires. Again, we would use DATEADD. We would use the calendar date. We would use the interval, which is -1. Remember, in our previous example, we had used year as the option. Now we would be using month as the option, and we approve this measure. We would be seeing how both of these work and how both of these differ. Let us create a matrix visual. On the rows, let us add year. And in the values, let us add our total hires. So this is the total hires measure which we are adding. First, we would be looking at the year option. That is this measure where we are going back 1 year. Use this measure and put it onto the visual. Now, if you look at the visual, we see 2021 gives you 5175 over here, which is exactly what the previous year's hires was. Again, 2022 gives 1986, which is exactly what the previous year hire was. If you remember, the parallel period and the same period last year behaved the similar way when we used years in the context of the visual. That is, when only years was there, the matrix looks exactly the same. Let us duplicate this matrix, and in year, below the year, we would also add the month. Let us expand this visual and see how it differs. If you look here, we had given -1 year, and -1 year was 5175. And if you look here in January, it gives you 242 as the answer. And if you go back exactly 1 year to 2020, you would see January had 242 hours. So this measure is exactly going back 1 year based on what is defined in the context of the visual. If you look at February, it is giving us 284. So it's exactly going 1 year back and returning the value. So it uses -1 year parameter which is given, but it also looks at the visual context and behaves accordingly. This is very different from parallel period, where you had seen when we used month and year in the mix and we had given year as the option in our function. We got 5175 repeated across. Parallel period did not change in accordance to what was given in the visual. It returned exactly what was specified in the measure. That is, give me 1 year back, what was that value? So, in parallel period, you had 5175 repeated across. But in DATEADD, it looks at the visual and goes 1 year back and returns the value. We would see one more option which we have just created, which is the month, and we would see how it differs. But first, in this visual, let us also add day and see what is the behavior. So now in this visual, I have also added day. Let me expand January over here and January over here. So if you see here in January, it is giving me 26. And if I go 1 year back to 1st of January, it will again give me 26. If you look at 2nd of January 2021, it is giving me 6. If I go exactly 1 year back, it is giving me 6. So DATEADD is going 1 year back in the context which is specified. So we have seen 3 scenarios of just using year, of using month and year, and then of using month, year, and day when we use -1 year as the parameter in the DATEADD. Let us clean up our visual a bit, and we would be looking at the month option which we had used. Now, this measure which we have created of -1 month, let us see how it behaves when we add it to the visualization. First, let us go to the visualization which only has the years and the total hires and add the month over here. And then go to the other visual and once again add the month over here. If you look at this visual right now, we had given go back 1 month. So if you look at the answer here, it gives us 242. So it is going exactly 1 month back. 1 month back in the same year. The last example which we had seen, it went 1 month back, but in the previous year. But here, since we have given straight away -1 month, you would go exactly 1 month back. So -1 month specifies that. And if you go to the next example, you see 284. So it is exactly going 1 month back. And this continues for all the months. Now these grand total values which you see here, which is the sum of these values, is the one which is returned here. So that is why this value is showing as 4896, because it is the sum of the previous months of all these values. And that is how you get this. Similarly, if you add days to the mix, let us expand February, and if you see February 2020 first gives you 26 hires because it is exactly going 1 month back in Jan for the first and returning the value. If you look at second, it is returning you 6 because it is going exactly 1 month back. If you remember, when we had used the year option, it went to the same day but 1 year back. Here it is going to the same day, but in this case it is going 1 month back. Let us clean up our visual a bit and look at another example. So I'm removing the month from here, and I'm removing the month from here, and I'm removing the day also from here. Now if you see, we have the year, the total hires, and once again the year and the total hires. We would be looking at the option quarter now. So let us create a new measure. Let us name it DATEADD quarter. We would be using calculate total hires. Once again we use the date add and the calendar date. We say -1 and now we give it as quarter and we approve it. Let us go to this visual and add, and also go to this visual and add. Now in the rows we would be also adding the quarter name. Now if you look over here in the quarter, I'll just rearrange this columns. If you look here, 680 is returned as the value over here. Now 680 was the highest for the previous quarter. If you look at 957, it was the highest for the previous quarter. And similarly, this function returns to us the highest for the previous quarter. And the value which you see here, which is the grand total of the values, is the value which is returned in this particular visual. If you expand the quarters, you would see April is returning the value for January. May is returning the value for February, and June is returning the value for March. So it is exactly going 1 quarter back and returning the values. Let's clean up our visual once again, and now we would be looking at the option day. So I'm removing the quarter from here, and I'm removing the quarter and the quarter. Now we are back to the same scenario where we have the years and the total hires, and we have where the years and the months and the total hires. Let's proceed to create our measure. We would be naming it as DATEADD day. We would be using calculate total hires date add. Once again, we would be using the calendar date. We would say -1, and now we would be using day, and we approve this measure. Let us go to our matrix visual and also add dates to the mix. In this visual, we would be adding this new measure which we have just created. And also on this, we would be adding the same measure. Now if you see, it is returning the same values. Let's have a look at why this is showing it in this way. If you look at January and we expand January, we see all the dates of January on which we have the hires. Now if you look at 2nd of January, it is returning as 26, which is exactly what the previous day's value was. If you go to 3rd of January, it is returning as 6, which is exactly what the previous day values was. If you look at any month, it is returning the value of the previous day. So this is how the day function works. And if you go here in 5175 is the grand total. So that is the reason you are seeing that values here. So the option of using day in the date add function, it will go back 1 day and give you the value. So we have seen 4 examples, one using the year as the interval, one using the month as the interval, we have used the quarter and also the day as the interval, and each behaves differently based on the context of dates which is specified in the visual. It is very different from parallel period, where parallel period returns exactly what is specified in the function. That is, if it is given as -1 year, it will return -1 year irrespective of whether we put day in the context or month in the context. I hope you understood this video. If you want to get a further understanding of the other time intelligent functions like same period last year or parallel period or many more, you can refer to the cards above and also refer to the links given in the description box. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell for more updates. Thank you for your time and have a nice day.